Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we're going to be talking about something that's a little bit more of like a controversial topic over here in regards to the brand new PlayStation 5 update in regards to the PlayStation VRR, which, as you guys may or may not know, actually does go and skew towards the Xbox Series X because it's actually been available for them for quite some time. So as of right now that we've had a few days to kind of go test out the system, kind of see the overall internal specifications, it's always kind of intriguing to go and see people kind of critique it because there is actually some things that actually could be a little bit betterly done, and as well some things that actually Xbox themselves have done very, very well. Now, as per usual, I try to keep an unbiased side, but when sometimes like a company such as Xbox does it pretty good, I almost more so want to incentivize, say, people who like their PlayStation 5 or Sony themselves to more so kind of take note, kind of on the opposite side where sometimes the Xbox, see for the controller and how good the controller actually is, sometimes it's nice to have them go take mental note and kind of figure out, like, hey, maybe for our next controller or mid-generation upgrade, we can maybe do something a little bit better. Kind of more in that mindset rather than like, this one does it better, so that means the other one sucks, you know, that type of mindset. So a lot of cool things to go talk about as well, a little bit more of a deep dive. We also have a cool little article from Tech Radar we're going to talk about over here, and as well, if any of you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console Controller, Twitter and Twitch stream as well, link down below. Sign up for Weeble, sign up for Coinbase, sign up for all the good old various things up on the side, and if you guys want to, the Twitter giveaway down below too as well. I'll give me your thoughts and comments down below too. So just want to say I appreciate you guys all so much for clicking on the video, and let's go and dive into the big old controversial news of the day. So, first and foremost, as you guys know, we have a brand new VRR update. And while it's actually huge, like, and unironically, it is very, very big in terms of frame rate, in terms of the actual, like, games that are being supported by it. And overall, it's just a big, big bump. We were seeing, like, 15 to 30, depending on the game resolution and settings, frame rate upgrades, especially as you have a proper TV for it. And I would say, and I think you guys would probably agree, 20 frames, kind of a big, big upgrade. Although, once again, we actually are now seeing a lot of critics, as we've had a few days to kind of tinker around with it and mess around with it, that are also kind of saying it's not as good. So we have an article over here from Adam basically saying the opinion, the PS5 VRR isn't quite as good as I hoped. Now, first and foremost, I want to go reiterate my point. I think the VRR is awesome. I love the fact that the support's finally here, and we're still making like those strides of actually utilizing this next-gen technology. Although, when it comes to all this type of VRR stuff, I can also kind of agree there's a feel like things that kind of fall short. Either way, at the end of the day, it's better that we have it, than not. I think we could all collectively agree on that one first and foremost. For them to start off on this, saying it's been a long time coming, but the PS5 VRR support is finally here. If you have a compatible HDMI 2.1 display, you can now enjoy a smoother gaming experience and supported PS5 games and wave goodbye to distracting screen tearing and the process. Although you may have to go and restart your PS5 at this point, you guys probably already have, so you guys probably have your VRR in general. So during their testing too, they sampled a wide variety of PS5 games using an LG OLED CX, which I actually do highly recommend myself. They came away mostly impressed, which is good. That's kind of the same mindset I was in. I liked the first initial impressions when I was utilizing my PS5. I think at the end of the day, it was pretty good. I liked it. I liked the fact that it actually exists. However, they actually had some more critiques. Talk about how Sony's implementation of VRR has a couple of quirks that you need to be aware of. And as it stands, they actually don't think it's actually as good as Microsoft's and the Xbox Series X and S. There is one major big thing I want to critique on it. I think even throughout the article it talks about it, is the fact that you could also utilize this, I believe, on prior gen. Well, for this, the PS4, you cannot actually utilize the VRR, which I do think is actually kind of a big and kind of somewhat disappointing news set. So the good news is for this one, we've actually been seeing this a lot throughout the past few days. We'll probably even see more and more and more, is that there's a lot of big updates coming out to VRR that will natively support it. So Resident Evil Village, Astro's Playroom, Devil May Cry, Deathloop, Tiny Tina's Wonderland, Miles Morales, and all these games are all actually supporting the native VRR support. And basically it results in these areas of these games that previously exhibited drops or had a generally unstable frame rate now run better than ever before as VRR tackles any noticeable dip. So basically the games just run way better, like no matter what. Even if it's a little bit lesser, a little bit better than the Xbox, either side, it's good to have. For them with Resident Evil with ray tracing enabled, the game is prone to add stutter in the main village square area, and as a result they chose to disable the ray tracing during their playthrough and missed out on impressive impact and technology, which once again is also rough. Although with this one with VRR, it actually smooths out all the drops itself, makes the game feel like it's more a lot, which once again is kind of the main point of VRR. It's basically just making sure everything's as stable, as high frame rate, and sometimes some capping frame rate a little bit more on the higher side too as well, which is awesome to see. So basically, this is cool. Like, no matter what, if people critique it later, they think it's not as good as Xbox's or whatever, it's still fantastic technology. So basically, a lot of people are like sensitive to these frame drops and don't like them. They want to have a stable gameplay, which I'm kind of one of those people. You can go and see it. And they're actually already seeing more exciting use of display tech on the PS5 as well from the first-party studios. And this is kind of where we kind of talked about a little bit when it first came out, where basically if you guys saw the Spider-Man Miles Morales remastered for that one, you guys could see it with the 120 hertz display. You guys basically have uncapped frame rates in both the fidelity and performance modes, and that basically means that all their previous caps were removed, so it was just higher everywhere. More stable, more consistent, and also higher, and even themselves, we covered up on a previous video, is 50% better too on top of that. And I think almost all of us could be on top of that because of better frames. And fidelity mode is also a revelation to Spider-Man Remastered thanks to VRR. So as you guys can see all this stuff, this is huge, this is great, this is fantastic, like all the support is looking phenomenal. And this all just has better frame rate, more fluctuation though, it feels more smooth and consistent, and basically it just makes everything better. Especially for me, because I've been on PC for a while, 30 FPS unless I'm watching like a movie is kind of somewhat on the slacking side. So basically it's going to be even cooler, there's still like a big window, because as people go and keep on making new games and developing games and making it better, at the end of the day, it's kind of nice. And of course, too, as well, this is all the good stuff, too, is because it's not just specific games, because there's also other things for unsupported PlayStation 5 games, too, as well. So it's just an overall console upgrade, which I almost want to talk about maybe in a separate video, too, as well. But it basically just goes to show that no matter what, even if it's not fully VRR supported, it does go and show that everything has been better. Everything has a huge bump up, everything's nicer. So as I kind of started at the start of the video, there's nothing bad about it. It's fantastic. It's like almost like a needed update that they've kind of surprisingly took way too long to go get. So some of the stuff like saying Ghostwire Tokyo or even Cyberpunk basically is just a little bit more consistent. And although they didn't notice any visual issues in the game they tried, they did find 2 titles that didn't support VRR at all, which is surprisingly Horizon Forbidden West and Gran Turismo 7, although once again, it's a little weird that they just don't have a chance to get it. But here's more of the bigger issues though, and this is kind of what I would kind of agree on to myself. Like, overall, it rounds up as a great download to go get it, but for this, it kind of goes into some weird restrictions as well. So basically for this one on the Xbox consoles, it doesn't apply to backwards capable PS4 games. So there's basically no performance benefit while playing backwards compatible titles, even though those will get a 60 FPS patch. So it kind of stinks because it's not letting you fully utilize other games and fully be on top of stuff, which kind of stinks, at least in my honest opinion. It's not cool. And that's always, I think, Sony's biggest issue. We even made a video a few days ago talking about PS3 issues where they just don't have the same architecture and everything's just rough. So at the end of the day, that's a huge thing because you can basically utilize this a lot more when it comes to Xbox stuff because their architecture is better. And as well, one of their bigger issues too they noted with the VRR is that Sony chose to use the HDMI 2.1 VRR standard, not AMD FreeSync. So basically in most modern TVs, this wouldn't be a problem, as you guys would probably know, but there are countless displays and monitors that in particular that actually can't benefit from this version of VRR, including those that only have an HDMI 2.0 port, and while this when it comes at the Xbox Series X and S, which actually do support both the FreeSync for VRR, more so for that one, and therefore are now capable for various compatible displays as well. So that's kind of like a big thing. Number one, when it comes to backwards capability, that's huge and that does affect a lot of games. Even think like Ghost of Tsushima, etc. Like some of the best-selling games out there. And I do want to say the Xbox side, although it's more niche, that is kind of big. It's more like the accessibility side. Although as time goes on, like 2, 3, 4 years from now, I'm sure it'll calm down just a little bit more. But when it comes to just stock in general, it is better to have it available for everyone. At the end of the day, that is just a better vibe. And that is something I do want to give a little bit of credit towards Xbox on, as it does kind of seem like they're more future thinking, but as well past thinking when it comes to consoles, even like 5-10 years ago. Also, the VR range in the PS5 is also capped at 48 Hz to 120 Hz, which also isn't as good as available on LG OLX-CX, which has a vastly VR range of 20 to 140. So it just has a bigger range and it offers a little bit more better features, so you're not 100% able to go and fully take advantage of it. Although, as I do say, it still is great, and it's still good that we have it. If you want to compare it to, say, a VRR support that's only 20 to 120 Hz, it's just not as good. So basically, if it's like a bigger drop, it's more of a noticeable drop, and although it does kind of stabilize and kind of equals out pretty well, there's still a lot of issues with it. And on top of that, too, it also makes a lot more sense, too, because the AMD is basically made, like the GPU is made by AMD, too, as well, which uses more of the open standard, too. And a lot of this stuff would be a little bit better if they just enabled FreeSync. So it kind of stinks. So that would also like allow everything to be a little bit more open now from everyone. And I think it is possible. It's all possible to update this, but as of right now, it's okay to critique it because it should be like perfect, I would say, at least in the end of the day. And also one big thing too as well is that your display's chroma resolution too could also have some big issues because sometimes your TV settings might even be set fully right and may also have some issues with it. So kind of how this order kind of dives on into, I would agree. Like it's cool that we have it. It's a huge upgrade and we're better off with it. But just kind of going and showcasing it that there's certain things with Xbox that just do it slightly better. I do think Sony should take some note and try to make it a little bit nicer and kind of have more options, more monitors, more features, just to go make it nicer and better. So at least in my opinion, I kind of want to hear your thoughts and comments down below because it is very intriguing just to go and see in the first place. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console controller, Twitter and Twitch stream as well down below, Twitter giveaway down below, and all the other various stuff too as well. I just want to say I appreciate you all so much for watching and your thoughts as well down below.